of Fierce, where we celebrate entrepreneurs carving new paths as they fulfill their mission to make our world a better place. Today, I'm very excited to have a dear friend and a client of mine from Beauty by Blane, Charlene Keogh of Charlene Keogh Designs. Actually, it's www.keoghdesign.com to be exact. And I want to share with you, my audience, my testimonial to Charlene, and then we're going to go through some of the factual information on her background and how thoroughly capable and seasoned she is as an interior designer. Now, I was looking at LinkedIn, updating my LinkedIn page, and I was overviewing some testimonials, and this is what I wrote for Charlene. Very seasoned in the business. Her approach is thorough. She is not afraid to think outside of the box or roll up her sleeves to get the job done. She has a knack for providing solutions to challenge spaces and a keen eye to spot perfect ingredients to complete any space. Keogh Design equals flawless beauty with ease and effortlessness. So that's Blane's, Beauty by Blane's take on Charlene Keogh's designs. And I just wanted to share with you, my audience, some of the factual points. Charlene graduated from Pratt Institute and has been an interior designer since 1974 and always wanted to do design since she was a child. She went to school to learn about it and has been doing it ever since. One of the things she loves doing is fixing interiors to make them work better. Redoing a space that she grew up in all the time gave her that background and that knowledge to be very efficient in that capable area. During the first part of her career, primarily she was doing commercial design, ranging from corporate interiors, law firms, banks, to jewelry showrooms, funky record company interiors, and art galleries. So very diversified background, which is great for anyone who is looking for an interior designer. She's also known for an unusual mix of materials in a non-traditional way. And this is one of the reasons why I was attracted to her aesthetic in interior design, because as you know, our show is all about entrepreneurs carving new paths to make our world a better place. She's also won the AIA Excellence in Interiors Award, which was no surprise to me. And she's been published in Dwell Magazine, Interior Design Magazine, Design Times Magazine, and Leisure Homes. Now, her work has also been featured in several books. One of the most recent is Asian Influence, Architect and Design. If we can get a close-up on that? That's amazing. And the spread in that was just so beautiful. It was really clean and minimal, which I love, and very open and spacious. And when you look at it, it looks like, you know, she just came in and just did it. Like, you know, you don't see where the challenges were. It's just seamless, and it's seamless beauty is what I refer to it as. She started her own firm in 1988 after leaving the corporate world and decided to concentrate on residential interiors. And there was a very creative opportunity which allowed her for a closer interaction with her clients. She not only creates the interiors, but does furniture and product design as well. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to Charlene Keogh. Welcome, Charlene.
Thank you. It's so good to be here. The last time we got together on TV was the Martha Stewart Tall show.
Oh, that's right. This is great. That was so much fun, wasn't it?
It was wild being in a room full of people your own height.
Or taller than us, right?
Yeah,
oh, wow. And waiting outside in that line in that cold. Oh my goodness, it was, freezing. But it was fun, right?
It was fun. It was really fun.
Great. I'm so excited to have you on the show.
I'm delighted to be here. This is great.
So, I mean, I know, you know, we want to get all the good, juicy facts in, so we're going to get right into the meat of it, right? The first thing I'd like for you to share with my audience is a little bit about your design philosophy, because I think that that's really something that makes you special and kind of like, you know what I mean, like separate from the masses.
Well, hopefully. Really, to me, it's all about designing individually for each client. Each client has their own ideas and their own lifestyle and their own way of looking at things and their own color choices and their own everything that they've either traveled or whatever, and everybody's an individual. And I strongly believe that that should be reflected in their space and not in some cookie cutter design that, you know, there are some designers out there that are very well known, and every design is very cookie cutter. You know it's their design, and you know it's their. And for me, it's all about reflecting the client. My friends tell me there's a thread that runs through my jobs, and they know that I did it, but it's really about, you walk in that space, it's their space, and I want them to feel absolutely 1,000% comfortable in that space when I leave.
Exactly. And
not be afraid to do anything in there. And they really need to live there. They need to enjoy it. Their home needs to be their refuge.
Yes.
And it needs to energize them. So when they come home, they can just sort of shut out the world and say, okay, I'm home, I can relax and be here.
It's interesting because you and I, we're so synergistic, and even when I'm working with you as far as like wardrobe and image and things like that, our philosophies synergize because like as a design consultant, you know, I get called a lot of times to go into a space because the person, first of all, didn't realize the importance of hiring an interior decorator.
Right.
So they just try to do it themselves and paint the walls and put in some furniture.
Right.
And then they're not wanting to stay home. They're always out, or they feel drained when they get home and they have a hard time leaving the house.
Exactly.
So I really, it's exciting for me to meet you, you know, and to be able to refer you, because a lot of times we could avoid all that we do if we do it right the first time.
That's right. And a lot of people, I have some clients that come to me and they've started the process and then they get stuck and they don't know what to do. And it's really about creating a balance in that room through the architecture and the interiors and the shapes and forms and the colors and the texture and objects and everything. And if it's not balanced, you don't quite know why it's throwing you off, but it is, you know, and then you're just not quite settled in your place. And when it is balanced, you just come in and you just go, you know, and relax.
That's when you know you've arrived, when you can come in your home and do.
Absolutely, yeah, exactly. And it really involves, you know, talking about my design philosophy, it really involves in my opinion, a collaborative effort with the client. And they may get heavily involved or not as involved, but you can't just go in and create something for someone without them being involved in it. And
do you work with consultants? Because I know, like, sometimes with my clients, they'll hire an interior decorator, but they'll have me there as a consultant, sort of like to verbalize what it is that they can't verbalize? You do?
No, actually I don't. What I do is I go through a whole programming process.
Okay.
And everybody has a definition of a term. And let's say I say modern, they say modern.
Okay.
What does that mean to them? I don't care what it means to me. I need to know what it means to them.
Right.
And I give them like homework, and I say go and pull up images out of the shelter magazines or out of now my website or wherever, and use that to tell me what your term means. If you're traditional, what does that mean to you? If you're modern, what does that term mean to you? And once we establish that term, then it's easy for me. Right. You know, because I want to know what they mean by it. Right. You know, because otherwise it doesn't work.
So the communication is very important. There's a lot.
Absolutely. That first programming meeting is probably the most important meeting of the entire job, because I do a lot of listening and a lot of asking of questions, and from that I really get to understand the client. And it may take more than one session, and it may just be hanging out and getting to know them as an individual. And it really is the opportunity for them to have a creative input, and also it's a creative opportunity and for them to take advantage of, because they're using me to get into their head and translate them as an individual into their 3D environment.
And I think that already that attracts me to your philosophy more than someone coming in with this name that's going to do the place up the way they think it should look, and then you're supposed to be, oh, okay, so-and-so did my apartment or my house. I mean, it's like you're living in someone else's space.
Right. It should be your space, and it should reflect you.
Now
that is my philosophy, period, end of sentence.
I love it. You got it in one sentence. I love it. It's amazing. Okay, audience, you heard that, right? Now, let's talk a little bit about style.
Okay.
The design style, because I think that's really phenomenal.
It's hard to define.
In everything.
I do absolutely everything. I'm hands-on. I'm down there picking the lint up off the floor sometimes. again, the design style is individually for each client, but I think the thread that runs through my projects is that I have a very clean style, be it traditional, be it modern, be it transitional, be it whatever. It is there, and it's all about balance, and it's all about creating that.
But I think that's also the thing about you that's really great too, is that in your design style, you know who to pull in to work with, to realize.
Absolutely.
That's very important.
Absolutely.
You know, you have a really great team.
I have a great team, and it runs from, you know, the fabulous contractors to incredible artisans to people that create products with me, for instance, rugs or fabrics or whatever. Just anybody, and I'm only as, I always say, I'm only as good as the people I work with, because if they can't produce, it makes me look bad.
Right. And then over the years, I guess you've kind of gone in and out, right, with different group people, and you've kind of people kind of crystallized a group.
People evolve and people change, and things happen, and companies close and companies open, and fathers pass things down to sons, and maybe the son isn't as good as the dad. And, you find that out the hard way, unfortunately.
Well, we're talking about challenges. Like, what are some of the challenges that you were up against that you kind of well, obviously you overcome them, but it's good for our audience to know that also, because my main mission for the show is, of course, to encourage people to go for their dreams, right? And to really take those entrepreneurial endeavors off the shelf, dust them off, and go for them. So it's important for our audience to know, okay, yes, there are challenges, but did that stop you? No. And how did you deal with it?
Every day is a challenge.
Thank you. Yes.
It's a challenge getting a project done. Design should be fun. People should have fun doing their interiors. It's handling huge amounts of people to get a project done. There's so many people involved to pull that team together to come in and make it happen. If one person messes up, it throws the whole thing off. So it's a challenge just to get the job done.
Exactly.
And it's a challenge to make sure that it gets done on time, that it comes within the client's expectations of budget, and within the client's expectations of quality. And I'm a stickler for quality, and I'm a stickler for on time, and I'm a stickler for budget. So if any one of those things is affected, it throws it off. And you know, but I'll hang in there till the bitter end.
I can testify to that.
I'll be down there picking lint up off the floor and tweaking a corner and scraping it. You know, if the cleaning people even didn't get something off the floor, I'm in there with a straight edge razor getting it off the floor.
Exactly. That's what I love about
That's the unglamorous part of design.
Well, that's our audience needs to know that, right? The other thing I wanted to share with our audience is, you know, being able to adapt to the times. And we had this conversation when the whole Wall Street fiasco happened, and you know, how do we keep ourselves active in what we love to do? And of course, you know, I came up with the wardrobe makeovers and working with the wardrobe that you already have and recreating looks,
which was great,
and you
does great work.